Okay guys, today's lesson is lesson 90. I will be solving all of these problems with you. I'll probably make a couple of mistakes because you're not here to catch me, but I'm going to do my best. 1A. What is the average temperature during March in Jacksonville, Florida? I had to change this question up just a little bit to make it fit with the Google form, so that's the only question you need to answer for part A. And so you find the dot located above March on that line graph, and you find the number 62. So that would be 62 degrees. Part B. What's the average temperature during April in Jacksonville, Florida? And that dot is between the number 66 and 68. And the number that's between those two amounts is 67 degrees. On part C, it says Salt Lake City, Utah, the average May temperature is 14 degrees cooler. So we subtract 14 from the average May temperature in Jacksonville, which is 73 degrees, to find the average in Salt Lake City. 7 becomes a 6, 3 becomes 13, 13 minus 4 is 9, 6 minus 1 is 5, and you should get 59 degrees. Number 2, there's a 3-pound melon that costs $1.44. What is the cost per pound? So you divide by 3 to find the cost per pound. 3 will not go into 1, but it will go into 14. So you go ahead and you put that decimal up on the stage. 3 will go into 14 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 minus 2 is 2. And bring down a 4. How many 3s are in 24? That would be 6. 3 times 6 is 24. And you have no remainder. So the answer to number 2 is 46 cents. I've made a mistake because 8 times 3 is 24. Good grief. So it would be 48 cents. Number 3, Jen spun all the way around in the air and dunked the basketball. Jen turned about how many degrees? So if he started here, once he got to here, that would be 90. Here would be 180, and he did that twice. 4 90s or 2 180s. Let's do 90 times 4. 0, 36. So he spun 360 degrees. Okay. Number 3 is on there twice for some reason. Just choose 360 degrees both times. That'll be easy points. Number 4. Shun Pike bought a pair of shoes priced at $47.99, and then there was sales tax of $2.88. He gave the clerk $60. How much change should he get back? So add these together to find the total amount. 9 plus 8 is 17. Carry your 1. Makes this 18. Bring down your decimal. 7 and 1 is 8. Plus 2 is 10. Carry your 1. And 4 plus 1 is 5. So the total cost would be $50.87. So subtract from the amount that he gave to the clerk. 60 becomes 59. This 0 becomes 9. This 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 8 is 1. 9 minus 0 is 9. And 5 minus 5 is 0. So the change he will receive from $60 is $9.13. 5. If the perimeter of a square is 1 foot, how many inches long is each side? So a square, all 4 sides are the same. So what times 4 equals 12, the perimeter? You know that 3 times 4 equals 12. So number 5, the answer is 3 inches. Number 6, the mass of a dollar bill is about 1 gram. If there are 1,000 grams in a kilogram, how many dollar bills are in a kilogram? So 1,000 grams, $1,000 bills would be 1,000. 7A, 1/4 of the 64 balloons were red. How many balloons were red? This is a divide by the denominator problem. 4 will go into 6 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down your 4. How many 4s are in 24? I made this mistake earlier. So it is 6 times 4 is 24. You have no remainder. The answer would be 16 balloons because we are looking for only 1/4. This is where we sometimes draw the picture to show each of the fourths. Each one of these is equal to 1/4, and 16 would be 1/4 of each. So if they ask you for 3/4, you know you could just add the 3 of these. 7B, what percent were not red? So 1/4 were red, and that is 25%, like 1/4 out of a dollar. You know, if you have 3/4 of a dollar, 3/4, you have 75 cents. But we're looking for percent, 75%. 8A, Tamara knew that her trip would take about 7 hours. If she left at 9:30 in the morning, 9:30 a.m., around what time should she arrive? So we'll add 7 to this 9 and see what that leaves us with. 30 minutes. 9 plus 7 is 16. Do you ever, unless you're in the military, you don't look at the clock and see 16:30. So how many more hours is 16 than 12? So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that would be 4:30, and it is now p.m. on number 8A. 8B, if Tamara traveled 350 miles in 7 hours, then how many miles did she travel an hour? So divide miles traveled by the time. You could do this anytime you guys go on a road trip. How many 7s are in 35? That would be 5. 5 times 7 is 35. Subtract. It is still important to answer the question, how many 7s are in 0? 0. 0 times 7 is 0. No remainder. 8B is 50 miles. 9. On the last Wednesday in May, school buses will transport 116 students on a field trip. Each bus can seat 40. How many buses will be needed to transport students, 9 teachers, and 13 volunteers? So there are a couple different ways you could do this. First, let's find out how many people we need to transport all together. 6 and 3 is 9. 9 and 9 is 18. 3. So there are 138 people in all. So dividing 138 by 40 isn't going to do us much good. So let's add 40s until we get to 138. So this would be 80 people in 2 buses. So we need another bus. 8 plus 4 is 12. And this is the 3rd bus, and this is 120 people. Getting closer, but that is not enough. So we add one more 40. So that would be the 4th bus. 0, 6, 1. 160 is greater than 138, but that means that we have enough room to transport all those people finally. So we need to take 4 buses. We can't leave people on the side of the road. We've talked about that before. Number 10, 3,049 compared to 3,049 and 0/10. The question really is, does this change the value? And the answer is no. These two numbers are equal. 11. Shakura purchased a birthday present for each of 2 friends, including sales tax. The cost of one was $16.61. and the cost of the other was $14.37. We're going to estimate, and we're going to round and then estimate the total cost. So $16, take a look at the tens place, that 10 cents place, and that would cause $16 to be $17. That amount is closer to 17 than it is to 16. $14.37, take a look at the 30 cents. That is closer to $14 than it is 15. 7 plus 4 is 11. Carry, and you get $31. So you need to find the answer that says 17 plus 14 is 31. I don't know why that is not an option. So on number 11, choose the one that says 17 plus 14. I don't know why that answer is wrong. Number 12. Manuel is deciding what to wear. He must choose between blue or black pants and a red, green, or yellow shirt. How many combinations are there? So you could have red and blue, green and blue, yellow and blue, and that's 3 different outfits. And the same can be said with the black pants. Red and black, green and black, yellow and black. That is another 3 options. So add those 2 together and you get 6. 13. 88 horseshoes are enough to shoe how many horses? So horses have how many hooves? 4. So you go and divide 88 divided by 4. 4 goes into 8 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. And then bring down the next digit. It's also 8. How many 4s are in 8 again? 2 times 4 is 8. No remainder, nothing left to bring down. So the answer is 22 horses that you could shoe with 88 horseshoes. 14. The triangles ABC and DEF are congruent. Which transformations would move ABC to the same place as DEF? So is it just a reflection or a translation? And that is just a reflection. You know, in my class, if you told me that was a reflection and translation, I would accept that because they're not touching. But you could just say that is a reflection as well. 15. We're adding 5 tenths and 12 hundredths first and then subtracting. 0 plus 2 is 2. 5 plus 1 is 6. Bring down your decimal. Now we're subtracting 62 hundredths from 625 thousandths. 5 minus nothing is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0. 6 minus 6 is 0. You have to leave the decimal. This answer is not 5. It is 5 thousandths. 16. 47 times 100. Use the zeros trick. 7 times 1 is 7. 4 times 1 is 4. 4,700. Number 17. 328 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 3 is 11. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. 1,312 on number 17. 18, more 2 by 2 multiplication practice. This is something that we didn't get to do together, so just watch and be patient. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. Mark out, put a 0. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. Add them up. 6, 17, 3, and 1. 1,376. 2 by 2 again. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry your 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. We hadn't really discussed what to do if you had carried. So this is new. Now that we're moving on to marking out this 5 because we're done with it and adding a 0 because we're done with it, you also need to make sure you mark out anything you carried so that you don't get confused and add it another time. 3 times 5 is 15. See, now we're carrying again, and we wouldn't want to confuse 2 and 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 5 plus 0 is 5, 2 plus 5 is 7, 1 and 7 is 8, and you should get 875 for number 19. 20, 4,317 divided by 5. 5 goes into 48 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract and bring down your 1. Now start over again. We're dividing 31 by 5. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract 1. Bring down your next digit, which is a 7. Now I have 17 divided by 5. I think that will only work out. 3 times 5 is 15. I don't know why I started right. Add. You are subtracting 2. Nothing left to bring down, so we have a remainder of 2. 863, remainder 2. 21. 40 divided by 8. How many 8s are in 40? That would be 5. 5 times 8 is 40. Subtract. You get nothing. Go ahead and put that decimal on the stage, and go ahead and finish these steps, even though it's easy, silly, repeating. How many 8s are in 0? 0. 0 times 8, 0. How many 8s are in 0? 0. 0 times 8, 0. None left over. So $5 8 times would be $40. 22. 3,963 divided by 6. 6 will go into 39 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. 9 minus 6 is 3. Bring down a 6. Again, 6 times 6 is 36. 36 minus 36 is 0. Bring down your 3. And this is why it's important to keep up those patterns. Now you're asking yourself, how many times will 6 fit into 3? None. You have to write 0 up on the stage. 0 times 6 is 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. There's nothing left to bring down, and so now your remainder is 3. 660 remainder 3 is your answer on number 22, which is very different than 66 remainder 3. So make sure that you continue to put quotients on the stage until you are out of digits. 23. 3a equals 426. So we're solving for a. We need to divide through 426 divided by 3 to show what one of those a's would be equal to. 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. And bring down your 2. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. Bring down your 6. There are 2 3's in 6. 3 times 2 is 6. So you have no remainder. 142 is the answer to number 23. 24. 2,524 divided by 4. 4 times 6 is 24. Subtract and you get 1 left over. Bring down your 2 and that makes 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract and you have nothing left over but one more digit. 4 will go into 4 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. And you have no remainder. Number 24 is 631. 25, 700 times 60. I went ahead and let 1 0 hang over. 6 times 0 is 0. Again, 0. 7 times 6 is 42. 42,000 is your answer. Skipping 26, finding n in number 27. I'm going to find as many 10s as I can. 7 and 3 is a 10. 5 and 4 would be 19. Plus 8 more would be 27. 3 and 2 would be 5. Plus 2 more would be 7. Now I need to subtract that from the whole answer. If I were to rewrite this problem right now, I would say 77 plus n equals 112. That's why I'm subtracting. I'm isolating this variable. Minus 77. Can't take 7 from 2. 1 becomes a 0. 2 becomes 12. Now that's 5. And I'm just say 10 minus 7 is 3. So n equals 35 on number 27. 28. Segment BC is 1 7/10 centimeters long. How many centimeters is AB? So I made sure not to put any that were too close to the correct answer on here because that ruler is pretty hard to read. So is it 1 8/10, 1 5/10, 2 centimeters, or 1 centimeter from A to B? I know it's not all the way to 2. I know it's past 1 5/10, so I know it has to be 1 8/10 centimeters. 29A, choose the pair of lines that are parallel. AB and CD, those are parallel, so we don't have to go through all of them. 29, choose the pair of lines that are perpendicular. That would be AC and CD. And that's all I have for you today. Hope to see you soon, guys.